Good morning, everyone. Today, I want to talk about something deeply personal yet universal, the power to change your life. Change is not a far-off idea or something that only happens to other people. It is, in fact, something that is within your grasp right now. But it starts with one simple truth. You have to be willing to change. This is not a passive process. It's not something that happens to you. It's something you choose. And this choice begins with vulnerability, the willingness to face the unknown and to lean into uncertainty. Change begins with vulnerability. It's a concept that often feels uncomfortable, even intimidating, yet it is the foundation upon which all meaningful transformation is built. Vulnerability is the courage to step into the unknown, to expose yourself to the possibility of failure, disappointment, and uncertainty. This act of embracing uncertainty, of opening yourself up to new experiences without the guarantee of success, is what allows you to grow. When we think about change, we often imagine it as something we do in an effort to improve or fix something about ourselves. However, true change begins long before any action is taken. It starts in the quiet moments when we allow ourselves to feel the fear and uncertainty that naturally come with stepping into the unknown. This is where vulnerability plays its role. It is in these moments when we acknowledge that we don't have all the answers, that we make room for growth. By acknowledging our vulnerability, we acknowledge that we don't have to be perfect or have everything figured out to begin our journey. Vulnerability does not mean weakness. On the contrary, it is a strength. The ability to show up in our most authentic form, to put ourselves out there despite the fear of judgment or failure, requires immense courage. It is easy to stay in our comfort zones, to stick with what we know, and to avoid risks that might expose us to pain or disappointment. But in doing so, we limit our potential for growth. Change requires us to take risks, to embrace the possibility that things might not go according to plan, and to allow ourselves to be okay with that. This is the essence of vulnerability. When we step into vulnerability, we open ourselves up to new possibilities. We are no longer limited by the constraints of our past experiences or our preconceived notions of what is possible. We allow ourselves to see the world through a different lens, one where we can experiment, learn, and evolve. Vulnerability creates space for creativity and innovation, because when we are open to the unknown, we become open to new ideas, new perspectives, and new ways of being. It's important to remember that vulnerability is not something you do once and then move on from. It is a continual practice. Each time you step into a new situation that makes you feel unsure, each time you choose to face something that scares you, you are choosing vulnerability again. This ongoing choice to show up in an authentic, open, and honest way is what leads to deep and lasting change. The path to change is not easy, but it is worth it. Vulnerability is the first step in that journey. Without it, we remain stuck in our current state, afraid to take the leap. But when we choose to be vulnerable, we allow ourselves the freedom to evolve, to grow, and to live a life that is authentic and true to who we are. Through vulnerability, we can begin the process of change one courageous step at a time. Before you can change, you need to first understand where you stand. This step may seem simple, but it is often the most challenging part of the process, becoming aware of what needs to be changed. Change cannot happen in the absence of awareness, because without it, you may be operating in a state of autopilot, unaware of the patterns, habits, or beliefs that are holding you back. Self-reflection is key. It's easy to get caught up in the busyness of life and avoid taking a deeper look at ourselves. We often move from one task to the next, rarely stopping to consider whether our choices and actions are truly serving us. But change begins with a moment of stillness where you confront your reality head-on and ask yourself the difficult questions. Where am I right now? Is this the life I want? What do I need to let go of to move forward? The awareness process is not about being critical of yourself, but rather about seeing yourself honestly and clearly. This step requires an open and non-judgmental approach to self-exploration. Often we may find ourselves resisting this process because it may expose uncomfortable truths. But those truths are precisely what can lead to transformation. Acknowledging that something is not working in your life is the first step in making a meaningful change. You may realize that you have been stuck in a toxic relationship, working a job that no longer excites you, or repeating negative thought patterns that limit your growth. The key is not to stay stuck in guilt or regret, but to recognize these areas of discomfort as opportunities for growth. Once you have gained this awareness, the next step is understanding the roots of the issues. Awareness is not just about noticing what's wrong, it's about uncovering why it's happening. Why do you continue to make the same mistakes? Why are certain patterns repeating in your life? This is where self-awareness becomes even more powerful. It allows you to look deeper at the underlying beliefs, fears, or past experiences that may be influencing your current actions. Sometimes our past wounds and unresolved issues shape the decisions we make today. Recognizing these influences helps you break free from old cycles and create new, healthier ones. This process of self-awareness also involves recognizing your strengths and your potential. It's not just about identifying what needs to change, it's about recognizing what you already possess that can help you along the way. This balance of recognizing both your challenges and your strengths allows you to approach change from a place of empowerment rather than defeat. Self-awareness may feel difficult or uncomfortable at first, but it is a necessary step if you want to change your life. When you take the time to truly understand yourself, you are better equipped to take the next steps toward the life you desire. The path to transformation begins with knowing where you are, understanding why you are there, and using that insight as the foundation for the changes you will create. True growth happens when we step out of our comfort zones. For many of us, comfort is an attractive place. It's familiar, safe, and predictable. It provides a sense of stability and control. But the truth is, staying in that comfortable space will only get you so far. Growth, real and lasting change, requires us to venture beyond the familiar into the unknown. The very essence of transformation is rooted in discomfort, because that is where we stretch, adapt, and discover new possibilities. When we are inside our comfort zones, our actions are driven by familiarity. We operate in ways that are already ingrained in us, following patterns we've learned over time. While this can feel secure, it also limits our potential. Growth, whether personal or professional, demands that we challenge the status quo, that we try new things, face new challenges, and embrace uncertainty. We cannot expect to achieve different results by doing the same things over and over again. To evolve, we must be willing to take risks and move beyond what feels safe. The process of growth is inherently uncomfortable because it forces us to confront our fears, insecurities, and doubts. The act of stepping into the unknown is often met with resistance, as it brings up anxiety about failure or not being good enough. Yet, it's in those moments of discomfort that we learn the most about ourselves. When we face challenges head-on, we uncover hidden strengths and untapped potential. We develop resilience, patience, and adaptability. These are the qualities that allow us to not just survive change, but to thrive in it. By embracing discomfort, we cultivate a mindset that is more open to learning and growth, which in turn fuels further transformation. Moreover, stepping outside of our comfort zones creates opportunities for innovation and creativity. When we break free from the rigid structures that confine us, we begin to see the world from a new perspective. We are no longer bound by what we know. Instead, we open ourselves to a vast array of possibilities. Trying something new, whether it's pursuing a new career path, building new relationships, or learning a new skill, invites fresh ideas and experiences into our lives. These are the very things that propel us forward and enrich our personal and professional development. It's important to remember that growth doesn't happen all at once. It's not about making giant leaps, but about consistently choosing to take small, courageous steps beyond our comfort zones. Each step outside our comfort zone is a victory, no matter how small it may seem at the time. These small actions compound over time, and before we know it, we've made significant progress. Perfectionism often acts as a barrier to change, subtly keeping us stuck in place. It's a mindset that convinces us that in order to be successful or worthy, we must do everything flawlessly. In its grip, we believe that any misstep, no matter how small, is a failure, and failure in the perfectionist's eyes is unacceptable. Perfectionism can become a force that holds us back from taking action, from trying new things, and ultimately from embracing change. It tricks us into thinking that we must have everything in perfect order before we can begin, but in reality, perfectionism keeps us from starting at all. The truth is, perfectionism is often rooted in fear of judgment, fear of making mistakes, and fear of not measuring up. It's an exhausting pursuit of an ideal that doesn't even exist. The idea that we must be flawless in every aspect of our lives is a social construct, a set of unrealistic standards that serve no real purpose other than to keep us paralyzed in our own pursuit of an impossible goal. Instead of propelling us forward, perfectionism keeps us mired in indecision and self-doubt. It can lead us to procrastinate because we're afraid the outcome won't meet our impossibly high expectations. This is where the liberating power of imperfection comes in. When we let go of the need for everything to be perfect, we free ourselves to take risks and embrace the messy, beautiful process of growth. Change by nature is not a perfect linear journey. It's filled with bumps along the way, unexpected turns, and moments of failure. And that's okay. In fact, those moments of imperfection are the very experiences that teach us and shape us. When we make mistakes, we learn what works and what doesn't. We gain resilience and discover new paths to take. Without imperfection, there is no learning, no growth, and no change. Letting go of perfectionism also means accepting that we are enough as we are. We don't need to be flawless in order to make progress or to be worthy of love, success, or happiness. Embracing imperfection allows us to be more compassionate with ourselves. We stop holding ourselves to unrealistic standards and start to appreciate the value of our progress and the willingness to try. Instead of being paralyzed by the fear of not being perfect, we can celebrate the fact that we are trying, learning, and growing. The process of change is rarely smooth, and it's often messy, but that mess is where the magic happens. When we allow ourselves to be imperfect, we remove the fear that holds us back and make room for real, meaningful change. Perfectionism may feel like a safety net, but it's actually a cage that keeps us from living fully. By embracing imperfection, we give ourselves permission to begin, to fail, and to try again until we reach the transformation we've been waiting for. Change is rarely a straight path, and along the journey, setbacks and challenges are inevitable. When we encounter these obstacles, it's easy to feel disheartened or defeated. However, the key to lasting transformation lies in how we respond to these moments. It is in times of difficulty that we must practice compassion for ourselves. We must remember that change is not about perfection, and setbacks do not invalidate the progress we've made or the potential for future success. In fact, it's often through our struggles that we learn the most about ourselves and the world around us. Self-compassion means acknowledging that we are human, and like all humans, we are imperfect. When we approach ourselves with kindness, we allow ourselves to be more accepting of our flaws and mistakes. This doesn't mean we give ourselves a free pass to avoid growth or to ignore our shortcomings. Rather, it means we recognize that growth is a process, and processes often involve missteps. It's in these moments of failure that we are presented with an opportunity to choose how we respond. Do we beat ourselves up, or do we treat ourselves with the same understanding and empathy we would offer a friend in a similar situation? When we cultivate self-compassion, we are better able to navigate the challenges that arise as we work toward change. We stop seeing setbacks as indications that we are incapable or undeserving of transformation. Instead, we begin to view them as part of the journey and natural and necessary component of growth. This shift in perspective allows us to stay motivated even when things don't go as planned. We no longer tie our self-worth to the outcome of our efforts. Instead, we acknowledge that the very act of trying, of showing up despite the challenges, is an accomplishment in itself. Another critical aspect of self-compassion is learning to forgive ourselves. We all make mistakes, and sometimes those mistakes can feel like major setbacks. However, holding on to guilt or shame only weighs us down and keeps us stuck. Forgiving ourselves allows us to release the burden of past mistakes and move forward with a clearer mind and lighter heart. It doesn't mean we erase the lessons we've learned from those mistakes. It simply means we give ourselves the grace to learn and grow without carrying unnecessary emotional baggage. Being compassionate with ourselves also means recognizing the importance of rest and recovery. Change requires energy, both physical and emotional, and it's essential to honor our need for rest when we reach a breaking point. Pushing ourselves too hard without giving ourselves time to recharge can lead to burnout and frustration. When we practice self-compassion, we give ourselves permission to take breaks, to recharge, and to return to our efforts with renewed energy and focus. Ultimately, self-compassion allows us to approach change with a mindset that is forgiving, patient, and nurturing. It's a practice that enables us to keep going, even when the road gets tough, because we know that we are worthy of love and progress, regardless of the hurdles along the way. Embracing this compassionate approach to ourselves helps us stay on the path of transformation, knowing that our worth is not tied to our perfection, but to our courage, resilience, and ability to continue moving forward. Change is often seen as something that happens in big, dramatic shifts, but in reality, transformation is most often the result of small, consistent actions taken over time. It's easy to become overwhelmed by the idea of making significant changes all at once. But the truth is, lasting change doesn't happen overnight. Instead, it is the accumulation of small, deliberate steps that gradually add up to something much bigger. This process allows you to build momentum, and each small step you take strengthens your ability to make even more progress. When we break down big goals into smaller, manageable tasks, the process becomes less intimidating. It's natural to feel daunted by the thought of completely overhauling an area of your life, whether it's your career, relationships, or personal growth. The vision of what you want to achieve might seem far off, and the path ahead can feel like a daunting mountain to climb. But if you focus on the first step, and then the next, and then the one after that, you will find that progress is not as far out of reach as it seems. It's about taking it one step at a time, without needing to see the whole picture all at once. These small steps create a powerful ripple effect. Each action you take toward your goal builds your confidence and reinforces your commitment. The more you do, the more you realize that change is possible. And the more you prove to yourself that you have the ability to take control of your life. With each step, you are not only moving closer to your goal, but you are also strengthening your capacity for growth. Over time, these small efforts begin to compound, and you find that what once seemed like a monumental task is now within your reach. The beauty of small steps is that they don't require perfection. You don't have to wait for the perfect time or the perfect conditions to start. Every small action counts, even if it's not perfectly executed. In fact, imperfection is part of the process. It's through these small, imperfect actions that we learn, adjust, and improve. By focusing on progress rather than perfection, you free yourself from the pressure of needing to get everything right. Instead, you embrace the idea that each small step is simply a part of the journey. Additionally, celebrating the small wins along the way is crucial. Often we get so focused on the end result that we forget to acknowledge the progress we've already made. Recognizing and celebrating these small achievements can keep you motivated and remind you that change is happening, even if it's not immediately visible in a grand way. These moments of celebration, no matter how small, create positive reinforcement, making it easier to continue moving forward. The truth is, meaningful change doesn't have to be a giant leap. It's the consistent, small steps that build the foundation for lasting transformation. Embrace the idea that every small action you take, no matter how minor it seems, is a victory. Over time, these small victories will accumulate, and you'll find yourself on the path to the change you once thought was out of reach. Building a strong support system is crucial when embarking on the journey of change. While the process of transformation is deeply personal, it does not have to be done alone. Having a network of people who support, encourage, and challenge you can make all the difference in your ability to sustain change, especially when faced with difficulties. These people can be friends, family members, mentors, or even colleagues who believe in your potential and are willing to offer their guidance, understanding, and strength. One of the most powerful aspects of a support system is the sense of accountability it provides. When you share your goals and intentions with others, you are more likely to stay committed. The knowledge that others are rooting for you creates a sense of responsibility and can help you push through moments of doubt or discouragement. Sometimes just knowing that someone else believes in you can be the motivation you need to keep going, even when the road ahead seems tough. This external support can help you stay focused on the bigger picture and remind you of why you started in the first place. Support systems also provide the emotional resilience needed during difficult times. Change is rarely a smooth, linear journey, and there will inevitably be moments when you feel overwhelmed or question your decision. In these moments, it is the support of others that can help you regain your perspective. A compassionate friend or mentor can offer a listening ear, provide encouragement, or share their own experiences with overcoming similar challenges. This emotional backing is not just a source of comfort. It can serve as a reminder that setbacks are part of the process and that you are not alone in your struggles. Furthermore, a support system can provide valuable feedback and constructive criticism. These trusted individuals can offer insights and perspectives that you might not have considered on your own. They can help you see things from a different angle, offer advice on how to approach obstacles, or simply help you refine your approach to the changes you're making. Sometimes being too close to a situation can cloud our judgment, but others who are less emotionally invested can offer clarity and guide you toward making better decisions. Additionally, surrounding yourself with people who inspire and uplift you can create a positive environment that fosters growth. The energy of those around you has a direct impact on your own mindset. When you are surrounded by individuals who are also committed to their own personal growth and who encourage you to do the same, it creates a ripple effect that fuels your motivation. A positive support system can help you see the potential for change, even on days when your own belief in yourself falters. Ultimately, building a strong support system is not just about asking for help, it's about surrounding yourself with individuals who empower you to be your best self. These people offer both the emotional and practical support needed to navigate the challenges of change. With their help, you can face obstacles with more confidence, resilience, and clarity, knowing that you have a group of people who are invested in your growth and success. Letting go of the past is one of the most important yet challenging aspects of creating meaningful change. Our past experiences, whether they are successes or failures, shape the way we view ourselves in the world. While it's natural to carry lessons learned from the past, holding on too tightly to old wounds, regrets, or even past successes can prevent us from moving forward. Change requires that we release the emotional baggage that no longer serves us so we can make room for new opportunities, growth, and transformation. The past has a way of lingering in our minds, often dictating our current actions and decisions. We may hold on to past mistakes that haunt us with the belief that we are somehow defined by them. This can lead to feelings of guilt, shame, and fear of repeating those mistakes. We may also cling to past successes, which can create a sense of attachment to what we once achieved. While it's important to acknowledge and celebrate our past achievements, becoming overly attached to them can create a sense of complacency or prevent us from trying new things. Both the positive and negative aspects of our past can act as anchors, keeping us from embracing the present moment and the future possibilities. Letting go of the past involves accepting that what has happened is out of our control. We cannot change what has already been done, no matter how much we wish we could. This acceptance doesn't mean that we forget the past or erase it from our memory, but it does mean that we stop allowing it to dictate our present and future. Instead of allowing past mistakes to define us, we choose to view them as stepping stones for growth. Each experience, whether it was a success or a failure, has taught us something valuable, and it's through these lessons that we evolve. By letting go of the emotional weight of the past, we free ourselves to move forward with a clear mind and an open heart. Sometimes letting go also means forgiving ourselves and others. Holding on to grudges or unresolved feelings can weigh heavily on our hearts, preventing us from fully embracing change. Forgiveness doesn't mean condoning or forgetting past wrongs, but it means releasing the hold they have on us. It's about freeing ourselves from the emotional burden of resentment or regret, so we can create space for healing and growth. By forgiving ourselves, we allow ourselves to move on without being hindered by guilt or self-blame. By forgiving others, we stop letting their actions control our emotions, and we release the power they have over us. Additionally, letting go of the past requires us to step into the unknown. The future is unpredictable, and that can be scary. But it is in this uncertainty that new possibilities emerge. If we keep holding on to what we know, we limit our capacity to embrace the new and the unfamiliar. Letting go means being open to what's next, even if we don't have all the answers or a clear roadmap for the future. It's about trusting ourselves and the process of change, knowing that we are capable of creating something better. Releasing the past is not an easy task. It's a gradual process that requires patience, self-compassion, and courage. But by letting go, we allow ourselves the freedom to move forward, to embrace new experiences, and to create a life that is no longer defined by what's behind us, but by the limitless potential that lies ahead. Taking responsibility for your actions is a critical aspect of personal growth and change. When we take ownership of our choices, behaviors, and the impact we have on those around us, we empower ourselves to shape our future. Responsibility is not about blaming ourselves for everything that goes wrong or carrying unnecessary guilt for past mistakes. Instead, It is about acknowledging that we have the power to influence our circumstances and that the changes we want to see in our lives begin with our own actions and decisions. Too often, we fall into the trap of externalizing our problems, blaming others, circumstances, or even fate for the challenges we face. While it's true that we cannot control everything that happens to us, we do have control over how we respond. Taking responsibility means recognizing that our reactions, choices, and mindset are within our power. It's about understanding that we have the ability to change our situation by making conscious decisions and taking deliberate actions, no matter how small they may seem. When we take responsibility for our actions, we also take responsibility for the consequences that come with them. This is where growth happens, in the acceptance that our choices, both good and bad, have a direct impact on our lives. Owning up to our mistakes is essential to learning and evolving. It allows us to reflect on what went wrong and how we can do better in the future. It is in these moments of self-awareness and accountability that we can truly grow, as we identify areas where we need to change and commit to making those adjustments. By taking responsibility, we stop playing the victim in our own lives and instead become the active participants in our transformation. Furthermore, taking responsibility fosters a sense of empowerment. When we recognize that we have the ability to influence the course of our lives, we begin to feel more confident in our ability to create the change we desire. This is a freeing realization, as it removes the feeling of helplessness and places the power back in our hands. Rather than waiting for someone else to fix our problems or waiting for life circumstances to change, we understand that we have the agency to make decisions and take action that will move us toward our goals. Taking responsibility also involves being honest with ourselves. It requires us to look at our actions and behaviors without making excuses or justifications. This is often uncomfortable because it forces us to confront the truths we may prefer to avoid. However, it is through this honest self-reflection that we can truly change. We cannot improve if we are unwilling to face our flaws, acknowledge our mistakes, and learn from them. Responsibility means accepting that we are not perfect and that growth often requires us to step outside of our comfort zones and challenge ourselves. In relationships, taking responsibility is equally important. It means owning up to the role we play in conflicts or misunderstandings, apologizing when necessary, and working to improve our communication and behavior. By taking responsibility for our part in any given situation, we build trust and respect with others. It creates a culture of accountability and respect in our relationships, allowing them to grow stronger over time. Ultimately, taking responsibility for our actions is about realizing that we have the power to create the life we want. It means acknowledging that the choices we make today shape the reality we experience tomorrow. By taking ownership of our actions, we become the architects of our own change, and in doing so, we unlock the potential for a future that reflects our true desires and aspirations. The journey of change is never easy, and there will be times when the path ahead seems uncertain or even impossible. During these moments, resilience becomes one of the most important qualities to cultivate. Resilience is the ability to bounce back from setbacks, to keep going despite challenges, and to find strength in times of adversity. It's not about avoiding difficulties or pretending they don't exist. Rather, resilience is about how we face those challenges and how we move through them. It's the inner strength that helps us persevere when things don't go as planned, and it is through building this strength that we can truly embrace change and transformation. One of the key aspects of resilience is the ability to reframe failure. Failure is an inevitable part of the journey, but it doesn't have to be a permanent setback. Instead of viewing failure as the end of the road, resilient individuals see it as an opportunity to learn and grow. Each failure teaches us something valuable. It helps us understand what didn't work and why, and it gives us the chance to adjust our approach and try again. By embracing failure as a stepping stone rather than an obstacle, we can use it to build the perseverance and determination needed to continue moving forward. Another important element of resilience is the ability to adapt to change. Life is full of unexpected twists and turns, and the ability to navigate these changes with flexibility is crucial. Resilient individuals don't rigidly cling to old plans or expectations. Instead, they are able to adjust their mindset and approach as new circumstances arise. This adaptability allows them to face challenges with a sense of calm and clarity, knowing that change is a natural part of the process. The more adaptable we become, the more capable we are of thriving in the face of uncertainty. Resilience also involves maintaining a sense of purpose, even during tough times. When the going gets rough, it's easy to lose sight of why we started on this path in the first place. Having a clear vision of our goals and the reasons behind our desire for change can help us stay motivated when things get difficult. Resilient individuals often tap into their deeper sense of purpose, using it as a source of strength to keep going. It's this sense of purpose that fuels their determination and helps them push through the inevitable challenges that arise along the way. At the heart of resilience is self-belief. The belief that, no matter how difficult things may seem, we have the ability to handle whatever comes our way. When we cultivate a strong sense of self-belief, we are more likely to take risks, face challenges head-on, and continue working toward our goals even when the road ahead is unclear. Resilient people trust in their own ability to overcome obstacles and to learn from adversity. Finally, resilience is also about leaning on others when needed. While resilience is often viewed as an individual trait, it's important to remember that we don't have to go through challenges alone. A strong support system can provide the encouragement, perspective, and resources we need to keep going when we feel like giving up. Resilient individuals know when to ask for help, and they allow themselves to be supported when needed. Building resilience is an ongoing process. It's about developing the strength to rise above challenges, learn from setbacks, and continue moving forward with courage and determination. By cultivating resilience, we make ourselves more capable of navigating change with confidence, knowing that no matter what challenges we face, we have the inner strength to rise above them and create the life we want. In conclusion, the journey of change is not a linear process. It's a dynamic, often messy, and deeply personal experience. Embracing change requires us to confront our fears, let go of perfectionism, and recognize that we are not defined by our past. It's about taking responsibility for our actions, finding strength in resilience, and accepting that setbacks are simply opportunities for growth. Each small step, each failure, and each act of self-compassion propels us closer to the transformation we desire. The key to creating lasting change lies in understanding that it's not the grand gestures or sudden shifts that matter most, it's the consistent, deliberate actions we take every day. By surrounding ourselves with supportive people, embracing imperfection, and having the courage to face the unknown, we unlock our potential for growth. Change is not easy, but with patience, persistence, and a willingness to evolve, it is possible to create a life that reflects our deepest values and aspirations. It's not about waiting for the perfect moment or the perfect set of circumstances. It's about choosing to take action today, knowing that every step, no matter how small, moves us closer to the future we want to create. So let go of the need for perfection, embrace the power of small steps, and remember that change is not only possible, but it begins right now, in this very moment. So I leave you with this challenge today. Decide to change your life. It doesn't need to be a grand gesture. It can start with one small decision to take a step forward, one choice to be vulnerable, one choice to embrace imperfection, one choice to be kind to yourself and trust in the process. You have the power to change your life, and that power starts today. Thank you.